Hello everyone. Welcome back to Naruto Fix. Today we have another interesting what if Naruto story. Which is what if Naruto married Hinata, but discovered a dark secret on their wedding night. Part 1. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Now, without wasting any time, let's begin. The night was supposed to be perfect. Not because it was planned that way, but because everything had finally led to this moment. The war was over. Peace had returned. And for the first time in years, Naruto Uzumaki wasn't fighting anyone. He was smiling. Standing at the center of Konoha, surrounded by friends, laughter, and celebration, Naruto Uzumaki looked at the person beside him, the one who had stood by him through everything. Hinata Hyuga. I still can't believe this is real, Naruto whispered. Hinata smiled softly. It always was. That moment felt complete. Not because everything was perfect, but because it was earned. The ceremony passed in warmth. Laughter echoed. Even Sasuke Uchiha stood quietly at a distance, watching, not interfering, not commenting, but present. Because even he understood what this meant. For Naruto. For everyone. And as the sun set, the celebration faded, leaving behind something quieter, more personal. The beginning of a new life. That night, Naruto stood outside their home for a moment before entering. Not nervous, but thoughtful. Because for someone who had spent his entire life chasing connection, this moment felt overwhelming. He opened the door slowly. The room was quiet. Soft light filled the space. And Hinata stood there, waiting. You took your time, she said gently. Naruto scratched his head slightly, smiling. Yeah, I just. A pause. Wanted to make sure this wasn't a dream. Hinata stepped closer. It's not. Silence settled between them. But not awkward. Comfortable. Real. Naruto exhaled softly. I'm glad. A pause. It's you. Hinata's expression softened. Me too. Everything felt right. Too right. And that was the first sign something wasn't. Because as Naruto stepped closer, he felt it. Not chakra. Not danger. Something else. Subtle. But wrong. His expression shifted slightly. Hinata. She tilted her head gently. Yes. Naruto hesitated. Do you feel that? A pause. Feel what? Silence. Because whatever Naruto felt, Hinata didn't. Naruto looked around slowly. The room was the same. Everything was normal. But that feeling didn't go away. Instead, it grew. Just slightly. Enough to notice. Naruto stepped back. That's weird. Hinata watched him carefully now. Naruto. Then, it happened. A flicker. Not in the light. Not in the room. In Hinata. For just a second. Her eyes changed. Not Byakugan. Something else. Something darker. Naruto froze. Hinata. She blinked. And it was gone. What's wrong? She asked softly. Naruto didn't answer immediately. Because what he saw didn't make sense. Your eyes. Hinata frowned slightly. My eyes. Silence. Because now, they were normal again. Calm. Gentle. The same eyes he had always known. Naruto shook his head slightly. Number. It's nothing. But deep down, he knew. It wasn't nothing. Because that feeling was still there. Watching. Waiting. And for the first time, Naruto felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Not fear. But unease. Because whatever this was, it wasn't Hinata. Or maybe, it was. And he just didn't know her as well as he thought. The room fell silent again. But this silence was different. Because now, something else was in it. Hidden. Unseen. And slowly, it was waking up. The silence in the room didn't break. It settled. Naruto forced himself to relax, but the unease didn't leave. It stayed there, subtle but persistent, like something just beneath the surface waiting to be noticed again. Naruto Uzumaki looked at Hinata carefully, not with suspicion, but with confusion. Because everything about her felt the same. And yet, something wasn't. You're acting strange, Hinata Hyuga said softly, stepping a little closer. Naruto gave a small smile, trying to brush it off. Yeah, maybe I'm just tired. That wasn't a lie, but it wasn't the truth either. Hinata watched him for a moment longer, as if trying to read something deeper, then nodded gently. You've been through a lot. A simple answer. A normal answer. But somehow, it didn't feel normal. Naruto exhaled slowly and stepped closer again, trying to ground himself in something real. He reached out and took her hand. Warm. Familiar. Real. For a moment, everything felt fine again. See, Naruto said lightly, I'm just overthinking. Hinata smiled faintly. You always do. That small moment felt like everything was back to normal. Until Naruto blinked, and the room changed. Not physically, not completely, but something was off. The light dimmed slightly. The shadows stretched just a little too far. And Hinata wasn't standing where she was a second ago. She was closer. Too close. Naruto's eyes widened slightly. Hinata. She didn't answer immediately. Her head tilted. Just slightly. Unnaturally. You noticed, she said. The voice was still hers. But not entirely. Naruto stepped back instantly. What was that? Hinata blinked. And just like that, everything snapped back. She stood exactly where she had been before. The light returned. The shadows normal again. Naruto. She said softly, concern in her voice. You're scaring me. Silence. Because now, Naruto didn't know what was real. Did you just move? He asked slowly. Hinata shook her head. Number. A pause. I haven't moved at all. That answer felt wrong. Not because she was lying, but because Naruto knew what he saw. He stepped back again, his mind racing now. This wasn't chakra. This wasn't genjutsu. This was something else. Something he couldn't explain. Inside him, Kurama stirred slightly. Not aggressively, but alert. Something's off, the fox muttered. Naruto didn't respond. Because he already knew. The question was, what? Hinata stepped forward again. Slowly this time. Carefully. Naruto. Talk to me. Her voice was soft. But now, Naruto hesitated. Just for a second. Because that same feeling was there again. Stronger now. Watching. Waiting. Not from the room. From her. Naruto's expression hardened slightly. Hinata. A pause. What's happening to you? Silence. Hinata looked at him. Confused. What do you mean? Quote. That answer felt genuine. And that made it worse. Because if she didn't know, then whatever this was, wasn't something she controlled. The air in the room grew heavier. Not physically, but mentally. Because Naruto realized something terrifying. This wasn't Hinata acting strange. This was something else. Acting through her. And if that was true, then he wasn't alone in this room. Naruto slowly stepped back again. Not out of fear, but caution. Because now, this wasn't a wedding night anymore. This was the beginning of something else. Something hidden. Something dangerous. And whatever it was, it had been waiting. For this moment. For him. The air didn't move. It tightened. Naruto didn't take his eyes off her this time. Naruto Uzumaki stood completely still, every instinct sharpened, every sense focused. Not on the room, not on chakra, but on something far more subtle. Presence. Hinata stood a few steps away, confused, worried, completely unaware of what Naruto was feeling. Hinata Hyuga looked at him like she always did, gentle, concerned, real. And that was the problem. Because whatever Naruto was sensing wasn't visible. Naruto, please, Hinata said softly, taking another step forward. You're scaring me. Naruto didn't respond. Because now, he understood something. This wasn't something attacking him. This was something watching him. And waiting for him to notice. I know you're there, Naruto said quietly. Silence. Hinata froze. Naruto, who are you talking to? Quote. He didn't answer her. Because the moment he said those words, the room reacted. Not violently. Subtly. The shadows deepened. The air felt heavier. And then, a voice. Not loud. Not echoing. But everywhere. You shouldn't have noticed. Naruto's eyes narrowed instantly. Who are you? Hinata stepped back slightly, fear now visible in her eyes. Naruto. I didn't say anything. That confirmed it. The voice wasn't coming from her. But it was connected. Answer me, Naruto said, his tone sharper now. A pause. Then, I've been here longer than you understand. Naruto's expression hardened. Inside her, silence. And then, not just inside, a faint shift. Bound. That word changed everything. Naruto's mind moved instantly. Seal. Something sealed inside Hinata. Something that had remained hidden. Until now. Why now? Naruto asked. Another pause. Because now. The voice lowered slightly. You belong to her. Naruto's eyes widened just slightly. That didn't make sense. Explain. Hinata shook her head slightly, clearly panicking now. Naruto. Please, what's happening? Naruto glanced at her. And for the first time, he saw it. Not with his eyes, but with instinct. Something wrapped around her chakra. Not controlling. Not dominating. Just existing. Hidden. Waiting. Naruto looked forward again. You're sealed inside her, he said. The voice didn't deny it. Yes. A pause. And now, the air shifted again. You're part of that seal too. Quote. Silence. Because that was impossible. Naruto stepped back slightly. What are you talking about? The voice answered calmly. Marriage is more than a bond. A pause. It's a connection. Naruto's expression darkened. So what? Then, the truth came. Now I'm connected to you too. Everything froze. Because that wasn't just dangerous. That was a problem. A big one. Naruto clenched his fist slightly. You're saying whatever you are. A pause. You're inside me now too. Silence. And then, not fully. A faint shift in the air. But enough. Hinata collapsed slightly to her knees. Naruto. Her voice. Weak now. Not controlled. But affected. Naruto moved instantly, catching her before she hit the ground. Hinata. Her eyes flickered again. And this time, Naruto saw it clearly. Not Byakugan. Not normal. Something darker. Something ancient. Looking back at him. You shouldn't have come this close, the voice whispered. Naruto's grip tightened. I'm not leaving. A pause. Not without her. The air went still again. Because that answer wasn't what it expected. Then you'll have to understand. A faint distortion. What she really is. Naruto's eyes narrowed. What do you mean? Silence. Because whatever answer was coming would change everything. And Naruto was already too deep to turn back. The room didn't feel like a room anymore. It felt like a threshold. Naruto held her steady as she sank against him, her weight real, her breathing uneven, but something else was layered over it now, something older, colder. Naruto Uzumaki didn't look away, even for a second. If this thing wanted to be seen, he would see it. What she really is, Naruto repeated, voice low. Say it. For a moment, there was nothing. Then, a vessel. The word settled into the air like it had always belonged there. Hinata's fingers tightened weakly against Naruto's sleeve. Hinata Hyuga tried to speak, but her voice came out strained. Ru-tu. Naruto leaned closer. I'm here. But the presence answered instead. She was chosen long before you knew her name. Naruto's eyes sharpened. Chosen by who? A pause. By what your world buried. That wasn't an answer. Stop speaking in riddles, Naruto snapped. If you're bound to her, then you follow her will, not the other way around. Silence. Then a faint shift. Like something considering him. You still think in terms of control, the voice replied. This is not control. Naruto felt it then. Clearer than before. Not domination. Not possession. Integration. Something woven into her chakra, into her very existence. You're part of her, Naruto said slowly. Yes. Then why is she weakening? No answer. Naruto's grip tightened. Answer me. Because you awakened the link. That line hit instantly. What link? The one created tonight. Naruto's mind moved fast. Marriage. Connection. Shared chakra. A seal. Extending. You're tied to bonds, Naruto said, piecing it together. Not just her. Correct. A faint, almost satisfied tone. She carries the origin. You carry the expansion. Quote. Naruto's expression hardened. I'm not your expansion. You already are. The room dimmed again. Not visually, but in presence. Naruto felt something brush against his own chakra, not invading, not forcing, just touching, like testing a boundary. Inside him, Kurama stirred, a low rumble building. That thing is reaching toward you. Naruto didn't flinch. Try it, he said quietly. The presence paused. You are different. I'm not letting you use her, Naruto replied. A longer silence followed. Then, you misunderstand. The air shifted again. She is not being used. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Then what is she? A pause. A key. Everything stopped. Because that was worse. Naruto's voice dropped. Key to what? The presence didn't answer directly. To what was sealed when your world chose survival over truth. Fragments. Pieces. History hidden. Naruto's mind raced. And me. A beat. You are the catalyst. Hinata's body trembled slightly in his arms. Naruto tightened his hold. Steady, grounding. Then listen carefully. Naruto said, voice firm now. I'm not your catalyst. And she's not your key. The presence didn't argue. Then prove it. Naruto's gaze sharpened. How? Separate. A single word. Break the link you created. Naruto looked down at Hinata. Pale, struggling, but still there. And if I do, you sever me from you. A pause. But not from her. Of course. It wouldn't be that simple. And if I don't? Naruto asked. Then I grow. Silence. Because now, the stakes were clear. Naruto exhaled slowly, steadying himself. You're not touching her again. You cannot stop what you do not understand. Naruto's eyes hardened. Then I'll understand it. He shifted his stance slightly, pulling Hinata closer, anchoring her, anchoring himself. Start talking. For the first time, the presence didn't answer immediately. As if it had found something it didn't expect. Resistance. Choice. And in that quiet standoff, something new formed. Not control. Not fear. A battle of terms. Because whatever this thing was, it wasn't just waking up. It was negotiating its place in a world that Naruto refused to let it take. Hinata's fingers tightened faintly again. Ru, too. He looked down. Softer now. I've got you. And this time, he meant it differently. Not as a promise. As a line. Drawn. Between her. And whatever was trying to rise through her. The room stayed still. The presence stayed silent. Waiting. Because now, Naruto had made his choice. He wouldn't run. He wouldn't ignore it. He would face it. Understand it. And if necessary, break it. And somewhere beneath that silence, the seal shifted. Just slightly. As if something, deep within, had begun to wake. The silence didn't break. It deepened. Naruto didn't move, didn't speak for a few seconds, but his mind was already racing faster than any battle he had ever fought. Naruto Uzumaki wasn't dealing with an enemy he could hit, overpower, or outmaneuver. This was something older, something embedded. And that meant, fighting blindly would only make it worse. He adjusted his hold on Hinata slightly, steadying her breathing, grounding her presence. Stay with me, he said quietly. Hinata nodded faintly, her strength weak but still there. I trust you. That trust hit harder than anything. Because now, he couldn't afford to be wrong. Naruto closed his eyes for a brief second. Not to relax, but to focus inward. Chakra. Flow. Connection. He reached carefully, not aggressively, toward that link the presence mentioned. And he felt it. A thread. Thin. Subtle. But real. Connecting him. To her. And through her. To it. Naruto's eyes opened slowly. I see it now. The presence responded immediately. Then you understand. Naruto shook his head slightly. Number. A pause. I just found where you're hiding. Quote. Silence. Because that answer wasn't expected. Naruto adjusted his stance again, more grounded now, more focused. You said I'm the catalyst. Yes. Then that means this link. Naruto continued. Depends on me too. Another pause. Correct. That was enough. Naruto exhaled slowly. Good. Hinata looked at him weakly. Naruto, what are you doing? Naruto didn't look away from that invisible connection. Fixing it. And then, he pulled. Not physically. Not violently. But deliberately. The thread tightened instantly. The room reacted. The air grew heavier. The presence shifted. Stop. It said. Not commanding. Warning. Naruto didn't stop. You're right about one thing. He said quietly. This isn't about control. The thread pulsed. Then you understand the consequences. Naruto's grip tightened. Not on Hinata, but on that connection. Yeah. A pause. But I decide them. And then, he pushed chakra through it. Not attacking. Stabilizing. Balancing. Instead of breaking the link, he forced it into equilibrium. The reaction was immediate. Hinata gasped. The presence faltered. Just slightly. What are you doing? It said, its tone shifting for the first time. Naruto's voice remained calm. You said I'm part of this now. Quote. A pause. So I'm setting the rules. That changed everything. Because instead of rejecting the connection, Naruto was redefining it. The thread stopped pulling. Stopped growing. It stabilized. Balanced between both sides. Hinata's breathing steadied slightly. Color returned to her face. And the pressure in the room lessened. Not gone. But controlled. The presence didn't speak for a moment. Because this wasn't supposed to happen. You're interfering with a process you don't understand. Naruto smirked faintly. Yeah. A pause. That's kind of my thing. Silence. Because that answer was pure Naruto. And for the first time, the presence felt something unexpected. Not fear, but resistance it couldn't easily bypass. Naruto slowly released some of the pressure. Not the connection, just the force. Now we talk properly, he said. Hinata looked up at him, still weak but stable. Naruto. He glanced at her briefly, softer now. I've got it under control. Not fully true, but enough. Naruto looked forward again. You said she's a key. Yes. Then I want details. The presence remained silent for a moment. Then, for the first time, it answered directly. She is part of a lineage. A pause. One that was never meant to exist in this era. Naruto's eyes narrowed. What kind of lineage? Silence again. Because whatever answer was coming would change everything. And this time, Naruto was ready. Not to react, but to understand. Because now, this wasn't just about saving Hinata. This was about uncovering something the world had hidden. And whatever it was, it had finally begun to surface. The thread didn't snap. It listened. That was the first thing Naruto noticed. Not just that the connection had stabilized, but that it had responded. Naruto Uzumaki held it steady, not forcing it anymore, just maintaining that fragile equilibrium between himself, Hinata, and the unknown presence. And in that balance, something opened. A lineage that shouldn't exist, Naruto repeated quietly. Start from the beginning. This time, the presence didn't resist. Before your villages, it began. Before your wars, the air grew heavier. Not threatening, but ancient. There were clans that didn't rely on chakra as you know it. Naruto frowned slightly. What do you mean? They didn't use chakra. Quote. Silence. Because that was impossible. Everything uses chakra, Naruto said. Not everything, the voice corrected. A pause. Some things contain it. That distinction changed everything. Naruto's grip on the connection tightened slightly. And Hinata. She descends from one of them. Naruto's eyes narrowed. The Hyuga. Number. Immediate. The Hyuga inherited something. A faint shift. They didn't create it. Hinata's body tensed slightly in Naruto's arms, as if something deep within her reacted to those words. Hinata Hyuga breathed unevenly, but her eyes, though weak, were focused. Naruto. I don't understand. Naruto steadied her. It's okay. I'll figure it out. Then his gaze sharpened again. What exactly is inside her? Quote. A pause. Longer this time. A fragment. Naruto didn't like that answer. Of what? The presence didn't hesitate now. Of something your world sealed away. That word again. Sealed. Naruto's mind connected it instantly. And you're part of that fragment. Yes. Then why aren't you fully active? Silence. Because she is incomplete. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Explain. The fragment was divided. A pause. She carries one part. Quote. The air shifted slightly. Others exist. That was bigger than this room. Naruto's expression darkened slightly. And if they come together? The presence didn't answer immediately. Then, the original will return. Quote. Silence. Because that wasn't just dangerous. That was catastrophic. Naruto exhaled slowly, keeping his focus steady. And what happens to her? A pause. She ceases to be a vessel. Naruto's voice dropped. Meaning, she disappears. Everything stopped. Because that was not an option. Naruto's grip on the connection tightened again, this time with clear intent. That's not happening. The presence didn't argue. Then you must prevent the convergence. Hinata looked up weakly. Naruto. He met her eyes. I won't let anything happen to you. This time. Not a promise. A decision. Naruto looked forward again. Where are the other fragments? Quote. Silence. Because that question mattered. Scattered. A pause. Hidden. Naruto's jaw tightened. Then we find them first. The presence shifted slightly. You think you can stop it? Naruto didn't hesitate. I know I can. That confidence was different now. Not reckless. Grounded. Because this wasn't about proving something. It was about protecting someone. Hinata's breathing steadied further, her strength slowly returning as Naruto maintained the balance. The room felt lighter now. Not safe, but stable. Naruto released a small portion of the pressure on the connection, keeping it controlled but no longer strained. From now on, he said calmly, you don't act without me. Quote. Silence. Because Naruto wasn't asking. He was setting terms. The presence finally responded. You have altered the balance. A pause. Very well. That agreement was temporary. But it was enough. Naruto looked down at Hinata again. She was still weak. But conscious. Present. We're leaving, Naruto said quietly. This place isn't safe anymore. Because now, this wasn't just their home. It was a point of convergence. And sooner or later, something else would come looking. Naruto stood slowly, helping Hinata up, keeping one hand steady on her. The connection remained quiet, controlled, but still there. A reminder that this wasn't over. Not even close. And as Naruto stepped toward the door, one truth settled in his mind. This wasn't just about a hidden secret. This was about something ancient. Something broken. And something that was trying to return. And now, Naruto was part of it. Whether he wanted to be or not. The door didn't feel like an exit. It felt like a threshold. Naruto paused for a second before stepping out, not because he was unsure, but because he understood something now. Once he walked out, this wouldn't just be a second between him and Hinata anymore. Naruto Uzumaki carried the weight of what he had learned, and that weight wasn't small. It was something that could shake the entire shinobi world. Hinata leaned slightly against him as they stepped outside. Hinata Hyuga was stronger than before, but not fully stable. The connection still lingered, quiet but present, like a shadow that refused to leave. Naruto, she said softly, what happens now? Naruto didn't answer immediately. Because for once, he didn't have a simple solution. Now, he said slowly, we stop this before it gets worse. Simple words. But behind them, a massive decision. The night air felt colder than usual, not because of the weather, but because Naruto could sense something now. Faint, distant, but real. Other fragments. Not exact locations. Not clear signals. But presence. And they were waking up. Naruto's expression hardened slightly. It's already starting. Hinata looked at him, confused. What is? Quote. Naruto looked ahead into the darkness beyond the village. We're not the only ones connected anymore. That truth changed everything. Inside him, Kurama stirred again, more alert this time. If what that thing said is true. A pause. Then others will feel this too. Naruto nodded slightly. Yeah, and they won't wait like you are, Kurama added. That was the real danger. Naruto wasn't just dealing with a hidden power anymore. He was dealing with something that others might try to use. Exploit. Control. We need information, Naruto said. Hinata looked at him. From who? Naruto didn't hesitate. The ones who hid this in the first place. Quote. That meant one thing. The elders. The archives. The forgotten parts of Konoha's history. Things that weren't meant to be found easily. Naruto tightened his grip slightly, steadying Hinata. We're going to the Hokage. Quote. Hinata hesitated for a moment. Do you think they know? Naruto's expression didn't change. They know something. A pause. Enough to hide it. And that was enough. The two of them moved through the quiet streets of Konoha, the village still resting, unaware that something far bigger than N.Y. war had just begun. But Naruto could feel it. Every step they took. The connection pulsed faintly. Not stronger. But more aware. Like it was watching the world too. As they approached the Hokage building, Naruto stopped for a brief moment. Not out of hesitation. But realization. This wasn't just a mission. This was something that could change everything he thought he knew about the world. About Hinata. About himself. Because if he was truly part of this now, then this wasn't just her burden anymore. It was his. Naruto looked at Hinata. Whatever this is. A pause. We face it together. Hinata gave a faint, tired smile. Together. That word felt stronger than anything else. Naruto turned back toward the Hokage building. And this time, he didn't hesitate. Because now, he wasn't walking into a normal problem. He was walking into the truth. And truths like this were never simple. But one thing was certain. Whatever was coming, Naruto Uzumaki would face it head on. And this time, he wouldn't let it take anything from him. Not again. It didn't end with answers. It ended with a decision. Naruto stood at the entrance of the Hokage building, the quiet of the night pressing around him, the weight of everything he had just learned settling deeper than any battle ever had. Naruto Uzumaki wasn't thinking like a shinobi now. He was thinking like someone who had just stepped into something far older than the world he knew. Beside him, Hinata Hyuga stood steady, still weak, still affected, but present. Still herself. And that was all that mattered. Naruto exhaled slowly. Not to calm himself, but to accept something. This wasn't going away. This wasn't something he could ignore. This wasn't even something he could solve immediately. But it was something he would face. Whatever this is, Naruto said quietly. It doesn't take you from me. Hinata looked at him, her expression soft but strong. And it doesn't change who I am. That answer was enough. Naruto placed his hand over hers, not to check the connection this time, not to control it, but simply to hold it. Real. Grounded. Unbroken. The presence inside remained silent. Not gone. Not defeated. But watching. Waiting. And for now, that was enough. Naruto looked ahead at the doors. Not as an obstacle, but as the next step. We'll find the truth, he said. Not loudly. Not dramatically. But with certainty. Because that's who he was. Even now. Especially now. He pushed the door open. And with that, the quiet night behind them faded. Replaced by something else. Not peace. Not chaos. But the beginning of something far deeper. A truth buried in history. A power hidden in blood. A connection that should never have been awakened. And now, Naruto was part of it. Not as a victim. Not as a bystander. But as someone who would decide how it ends. The story didn't close. It shifted. Because this wasn't the end of a wedding night. This was the start of a war. No one knew existed. And Naruto Uzumaki was already standing at its center.